G'day everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be giving you 13 GeoGuessr tips for Australia that every player must know. These are not the most advanced tips, but they're pretty good tips. Some of them are more famous than the others, but yeah, all very useful in Australia. So without further ado, let's just get into it. First tip I have here is about these yellow sign poles, which are flat. If you see yellow sign poles, flat yellow sign poles, you can only be in Western Australia. Even if you see yellow sign poles, like pretty much all the time you'll be in Western Australia. Not really any other state does this, and they're flat as well, which makes them extremely unique, being yellow and flat. So yeah, if you see that, send Western Australia for easy points. Alright, next tip here is also for Western Australia, and it's about these bollards, the older types with a round reflector. And if they have grey bottoms, you're like pretty much always going to be in Western Australia with this significant of a bottom. Some states can have like shorter parts on it, but with a bottom that's this long and with grey on it, you can only be in Western Australia, as it is completely unique to the end. Let's move that. It's not found anywhere else in Western Australia. In Australia. So yeah, very good tip to know. Alright, next tip here I have for you is up in Northern Territory, and it's these poles. Actually, in my unique regions around the world video, I did say about this area of the world, but vaguely about these poles. And yeah, these rusty holy poles are only found in Northern Territory. And yeah, they're not. I think you can see similar ones in Western Australia, but yeah, most of the time you'll probably just be up in the Northern Territory. So yeah, and when it's this green light, you're probably gonna be up in Darwin. So yeah, pretty easy points there. Next one I have for you here is it's a bit more specific. This one's less known, but still pretty good. And if you're on East to West Road and it's super flat and like really dry with red soil, and there's very short vegetation, and you have this leaf on the camera, you're going to be on the 66 in Northern Territory. I'll just show you where it is right now. That is located right here on the Barkly Highway running around here. So I think it starts from about Warramungu, goes all the way down this road. This is around here, by the way. And it goes all the way down here. I think it goes all the way to Mount Isa as well. So sometimes you could end up in the Queensland, but most of the time you just be in Northern Territory. So yeah, super good to know as well. Right, this is probably a famous one. I don't have to talk about too much, and you probably know it already. The Stobie poles of South Australia. They're called Stobie poles with two recycled railway tracks, I believe. And yeah, they've got concrete in the middle. They're very unique, very easy to recognise. And like 95% of the time, I'd say, in South Australia. You can sometimes find them in Tasmania. I have seen them in Tasmania. But yeah, most of the time you'll probably just be in South Australia. Alright, next tip I have for you here is these gaps on the outer road lines. And if you're in Australia and you have these gaps in the outer road lines with no reflectors, you'll be in South Australia. But beware, in Generation 4, this gap will not be visible, as I don't know why, but you won't see this gap. It'll just be completely solid in Gen 4. But in Gen 3 and Gen 2, and probably Gen 1 as well, you have these gaps on the outer road lines. You can see it there, over there as well, and over there. So yeah, you can see them pretty much everywhere, and the one over here as well. So yeah, see those gaps with no reflectors, you'll be in South Australia. And the reason I'm talking about reflectors is if you see a gap in the other road line with a little red reflector in it, you'll be in the ACT. So yeah, so the gaps in the outer road lines only found in South Australia and the ACT, not anywhere else in the world, only those two places. But yeah, reflectors can only be ACT. In South Australia you won't have these reflectors. And yeah, this is Gen 2 as well, with the wide blur on top and on bottom. So yeah, another good tip to know. Probably not as well known, these tips, but yeah. Right, next one here is probably a well-known one. I have told you guys this one before a little while ago, and it's these black markings you get on the green poles. And you see this black marking with white numbers on it too. You're going to be in Queensland, and probably more specifically around Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast and Brisbane area. But I think you can see it all over Queensland, but mainly in this area. Another good thing to mention is that Western Australia and Queensland are the two states that most commonly have green wooden poles, like this kind of green wooden poles. Yeah, these poles are most commonly found in Western Australia and Queensland. I haven't seen them too much elsewhere. Maybe sometimes New South Wales and occasionally Victoria. But yeah, pretty much most of the time it's going to be Queensland or WA. And you should tell the difference between them pretty easily. But yeah, this black marking pretty much only found in like Sunshine Coast, Brisbane and Gold Coast. But yeah, can be found all over the country sometimes. I mean all over the state of Queensland. Alright, here's another poll tip for Queensland. This little blue dot. This blue dot is unique to Queensland. You won't find it in any other state in Australia, only in Queensland. And actually, as you can also see here, we do have this sort of kind of black sort of half marking with the white numbers on it. So yeah, I guess you can see it because this is actually in Berkshire. I think this is near Rockhampton in Queensland. So yeah, but this blue sticker, that's another good tip that not many people do know, but yeah, another good tip for Queensland. Not found anywhere else in Australia. Alright, here's a double here for you, but these probably are very well known tips. We obviously have the red no stopping sign. If you don't know, red no stopping signs in Australia are only found in New South Wales. They're not even found in the Australian Capital Territory, only in New South Wales. So yeah, you don't have to fear about ACT because Canberra won't have these, but everywhere in New South Wales will have these. But for some reason, they're the only state that does this. Every other state has pretty much inverted. They have white with red text, or white ones. And also another tip here is the yellow license plates. This is interesting because we're actually in Gen 4, January 2023, Gen 4. And I think these yellow plates are actually older plates, but they can still exist around there. There's a yellow one there. Here's another one over there as well. But yeah, you can, I guess, occasionally see the odd yellow plates around New South Wales. So yeah, these two clues will make you for sure they're in New South Wales. Yeah, and this bus also is actually unique to Sydney. You won't find it anywhere else in the country. Alright, and this is another tip I've told you guys, but let me remind you. This yellow and black, kind of like yellow ending with a black stripe through, like, I don't know, would you call it a chevron or something? I don't know. But yeah, this kind of thing on the end of the guardrail is only found in New South Wales. I think you can occasionally see it in ACT and in Victoria, but not as often. It's much more common in New South Wales. And yeah, so you can see it there as well. I think very rarely in WA you can also see it, because I think I have seen it once as I live in WA, but mostly you see it just in New South Wales. But I'm just letting you know the exceptions that can be around. Alright, next one is probably a less known one, but a good one to know. Is this little blue and white kind of sticker, or this little metal marking on the pole. And if you see this, you're going to be in Melbourne. Only Melbourne, the only city in Australia that has this little white and blue marking on the pole. And it's on the concrete pole as well. Good thing to know that Victoria uses mainly concrete poles, most common state to use it. And yeah, so if you see the concrete pole plus the white and blue marking on the pole, you're probably just going to be in downtown Melbourne, as yeah, this is just in Q East in Melbourne. So yeah, not as well known, that one. So yeah, I thought I might mention it. And the last tip I have for you here is about is about these. These are probably one of the most iconic tips as well for Australia. They're the olive green possum guards, and if you see this, you're going to be in Tasmania. A lot of YouTubers say this, but it's another important tip to know in Australia. If you see your olive green possum guards, just chuck it down in Tasmania. And I think I did maybe see a couple of Stovey poles around here. No, maybe not here, but yeah, you can occasionally see Stovey poles in Tasmania. And yeah, guys, that'll actually conclude the video. It was a bit of a quick one. I hope you didn't mind it. Let me know in the comments how fast you want me to do these videos. Subscribe, it will really help me out. I really appreciate it. Like if you really did enjoy these videos. Comment as well if you want to see more videos like this. And yeah, I'll just see you guys in the next one. Bye.